So this is a link. Now you notice if you click on the link, it just opens the file up in Blackboard. Okay, that's not what we want, so that's not going to help. If you have a 2-button mouse, 3-button mouse, 5-button mouse, right-click on it. And these mouses here, these, what do they call them, Mighty Mouse? No, these are Mighty Mice's mouses. These aren't the conventional ones. So these, you can actually do a right-click by clicking at the right side of the front. To me, it's cumbersome as all get out. I've used it for a long time, and I still don't like it. I prefer a two-button, 3-button mouse. You can also hold down, Mac users, the Control key and click on it. And when you do, you get this dialog box. We want to save link as. Here it is. All right, all you Tri-C students who've been there before, do we want to save this to the desktop? No. Where do we want to save it to? To the Documents folder. By the way, if you have a flash drive that you're using, I strongly urge that you save all your work to the Documents folder, copy it to your flash drive at the end of the class, as opposed to working back and forth from your flash drive. They're not really intended to be sort of random access storage, and they go bad pretty quickly. So they're meant to be ways of transporting information from one place to the other. So I would suggest best way to work this is to go to the Documents folder every day, start a new folder, AW, that's my initials, and today is January 11th. Got a new folder, and I'm going to save this file that I want to use into that folder. If the power goes out, as it does occasionally, in fact, it went out over the winter break, so they were without power in this building for 2 days. If it goes out, it's going to stay put in the Documents folder. If you put it on the desktop, it's going to go away, and all of your work is going to disappear. Which, if that hasn't happened to you before, it's really frustrating. So here I am, AW January 11th, my first page. Now, again, watch what happens. If I double-click on it, well, what do you think is going to happen if I double-click on it? How's it going to open up? Notice it says .html. It's going to open up in a browser. In fact, it even says it's a web application. You want to open it. And so it opened up in the browser. And so this is what that document looks like. It's just a little thing about me. You're going to do one about you. This is a little thing about me. Since we all are most interested in ourselves, right? What could be more interesting than that? But we don't want to look at it in a browser right now. We want to look at it in TextEdit. So you can either do open with, or you can just drag it to the TextEdit icon in the dock. And then when you open it up, and please remind me if you can't see this because it's too small, remind me to enlarge it. Folks sitting in the back, you may have to do that every now and again. Notice that what we have, we've got some of the markup already done. So some tags are already there, and some tags aren't. And if you remember, each one has to have a starting and an ending. Here's a starting HTML tag. So we're saying to the browser, hey, guess what? This is an HTML document. Then there's all the stuff that's part of it. And at the very end, we're closing that with the ending tag. Okay, so everything that's been wrapped in these tags is part of the HTML document. Now, we have a thing called head. And then we have a thing called title. And so you notice there's the starting tag for head. Then immediately we start the title. Then we've got the title. Then we end the title with the ending tag, closing tag. And then we end the head with a closing tag. All right? Now, did anybody notice this text where it says the first web page created by Al Wasco and Web Publishing, Calgary Community College? Anybody notice that anywhere before? Did you read those words anywhere? Yeah, it's at the top of the web page. So this is a title, and where the title appears in a document, in a browser, if we open this in the browser now, there's the title. See it? There's the title. Those of you who've worked in print media, this is going to throw you for a little bit. So most people think the title is going to pop up right here because, gee, that's where a title would be. Well, it doesn't show up there. The title is what's up here and what's called, strangely enough, the title bar. One of the things about titles, now you may look at that and you think, wow, that's kind of a long title. Why did he bother with that? Why doesn't he just say my first web page? Anybody have an idea why I didn't just say my first web page? Exactly. So there are thousands of people who have my first web page, and there's even millions of people who have web pages titled untitled document. And strangely enough, you may not have thought of this before, but when you go to Google or your favorite search engine and you type in this case, maybe Web Publishing 1, Cuyahoga Community College, if that text, Web Publishing 1 at Cuyahoga Community College, is in the title, it's more likely to show up in the search engine than if it's not there. So search engines actually look at the page titles as a pretty strong indication of what that page is about. So we're starting like on day one. I want you to understand that in terms of getting your site found by the search engines, doing a meaningful title that's unique for each page, that uses words connected with what the page is about, is a real important thing to do. So a lot of people, they get their whole website built. I got an email like this just last week. Okay, I got my website built, and I went to Google and I typed it in, and it's nowhere to be found. All right, because here's the thing: once you build a website, if it's not found, you might as well, you've wasted your time. So we're going to start early on, and we're going to continue throughout the semester talking about searchability and what you can do to make a site more search engine friendly. First thing, and in some ways maybe the most important thing you can do, is unique, meaningful titles that include words that are connected to what the page is about or what the website is about. So in this case, it's my first web page. That's what it is. It's got my name in there because somebody might be looking for stuff that I've done. It's got the name of the class in there because somebody might be interested in this very class, and it's got Cuyahoga Community College because that's where we are, and so somebody might be interested in what we're doing here. About 60 characters is considered to be about right. This is maybe a little bit long. Somewhere between 60 and 100 characters is what you want to aim at. I think 66 are the maximum number that can be displayed. And then there's some difference of opinion about what happens to the other ones between that and 120 and whether they're going to show up in the search engine or not. But just think about 60 characters. It's probably pretty good. All right, so now let's go back to text edit. And so that's the HTML, there's the head, there's the title. Now we've got this thing called body. So here's where we go. Everything between the opening and closing body tag is what's going to appear in the browser when you open up the page. So anything that you want to see in the browser, except for the title, which is up in the title bar, has got to be between these two tags, the opening body tag and the closing body tag. If it's not between those two tags, not going to be seen. All right, there will be stuff you're going to put in the head of the document that you don't want people to see. You put little bits of code that are going to do certain things. So that goes up in the head. But if you want people to see it, it's got to be in the body.